That kind of cavalier attitude.
It's like, I don't need you, I'm better than everyone. Fuck you, I'm so great because I'm like so fucking masculine, like claws and hair and shit and like it is so fucking boring.
Hello and welcome to Incomplete Geeks, a gay geek podcast. The podcast where you listen to us talk about random gay geek shit. Sometimes we know a lot about it. Other times our knowledge is a bit
incomplete.
That's right. This is episode, we don't know what number it is, are we?
30-something.
30-something. Well, I'll fill it in later. I'll edit it in later. This is a drunk rant about why we hate the character Wolverine. Yes, I am your...
So much so that he's not getting his own fucking intro.
No, he's not even.
I don't even have something funny. Like, I can't even come up with something gay that Wolverine does or says. He is the most aggressively heterosexually written character ever, apart from that one time, which we'll get into.
I guess we're launching right into it, are we? I'm your co-host, John. Over there is your co-host, Nick. And we have intros galore, but not for this piece of turd. I'm just kidding. I don't hate... I mean, I do hate him. I just think he's...
I hate Wolverine.
Don't put it there. Oh, this is a drunk rant, by the way.
So we are drinking.
Yes. We've already had a few glasses of cava. I was going to say champagne. It's like,
we
don't
have
that class, you know.
Champagne. No.
Fun fact, cava is 1,000 times better than Prosecco.
Fight me in the comments.
If you disagree.
Fight us in the comments. Prosecco is...
X-Men fan. Like, it's okay, but it gets too much too quickly.
Since I was 12, it's too much. And unfortunately, you cannot separate X-Men from Wolverine. We've tried. We really have tried.
There's a fucking show called Wolverine and the X-Men.
Which wasn't garbage.
I heard it was good, yeah.
Didn't get a season 2.
Oh, really?
No, it's a shame. Pre-Disney.
All right.
Yeah, you can't separate X-Men from Wolverine. So I first experienced the X-Men through the X-Men video game, and then Pride of the X-Men, which check out our previous episode or our earlier episode on our rewatch of Pride of the X-Men.
Pride of the X-Men, yeah.
My first experience with him. And then quickly after that, started reading comics. Luckily, when I started reading comics, so the first issue I read was so boring. I don't know why I went back for a second one. It was the Thanksgiving issue where Jean finally proposed to Scott.
Oh, okay.
And they were just like talking about their life and having emotional thoughts and all that kind of shit. The second issue I read was an X-Men classic. So they were kind of coming out at the same time, so they were reprints of 80s stuff. So it was coming out in the 90s, but it was the 80s stories. And that's obviously the one I loved because that's the Chris Claremont run. That's how I first read it. Those two periods in time briefly didn't involve Wolverine.
Yeah.
So at that period, he had in Uncanny X-Men, he had his adamantium ripped out and left.
Ew.
Do you not know about this?
No, vaguely.
Magneto pulled his adamantium out.
How?
With magnetism.
If he pulls on the adamantium, he's going to pull his... How does he separate the body from it?
He's the master of magnetism. He can manipulate metal. He just pulled the metal out. It ripped through his skin.
Gross.
It was gross. Pretty dramatic. So he'd had his adamantium pulled out and he had left the X-Men. Because also he'd got his own solo series spin-off. So he was off doing that. And at that very, very brief point in classic 80s run, he was in Japan with Kitty for Kitty and Wolverine miniseries.
Yeah.
For another spin-off. So for those first few issues of all of those, I got to actually enjoy the X-Men without Wolverine.
And this is like in the 90s comics? Or this is like...
90s, but then a reprint of the 80s. So they were coming out at the same time, which confused the shit out of me. I was like, what the fuck? I think Rogue Storm has a punk and no hair and no powers, but she's also... Anyway. I figured...
Like you can buy the big books worth of the whole comic book
story. You could, but it just came out monthly.
Oh, was it?
X-Men Classic.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into it.
Fair enough.
So there was a little teeny tiny bubble where I had a few issues without Wolverine. So that's when I immediately got into it. So the first issue I read, the X-Men Classic, was when Storm got depowered. It was the spotlight on Rogue, and Rogue became my favorite character instantly because it was fucking brilliant.
That's why you kept reading it.
So yeah, the first issue I was like, what the fuck is this? And it matched a game or whatever. I was like, that's fine. And then the second issue I read was that brilliant one where it was spotlight on Rogue and Storm lost her powers. Brilliant. And Mystique was there in the back. Oh, so good. So there was a little teeny tiny window where there was no Wolverine, but it very quickly, he came back in the classic one, and then it was all over the place in the other ones. So
he's very ubiquitous in the comics as well, because he's everywhere in every other kind of media as well.
Yeah, you can't really separate them, which is probably my biggest gripe, is that it's always about Wolverine.
Yeah. So reading those comics then, what was it about the character of Wolverine that really turned you off at the beginning?
I think I hadn't planned to do
that. Because you said the first time you encountered him was from video games.
I mean, the first time I encountered the X-Men was video games.
Right.
But we didn't play as Wolverine. We played as the girls.
Yeah, of course.
We played as Storm and Dazzler.
But was he a character in it? I'm sure he was a character in it.
Of course. But
okay. So you've heard of him.
So was Nightcrawler, Colossus,
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine, Dazzler, Storm.
Yeah.
You could play as either of them. But we played as Storm and Dazzler.
Obviously,
I played as Storm and Dazzler because they were brilliant. You don't play as Wolverine because he's like, shit. Anyway, I can't remember the first time I hated him, because when he came back in the X-Men Classic ones, Kitty was there. He was a little bit subdued, and he kind of had that Orientalism about him that was fun in the 80s, where he's like, they call it Hama, or whatever it is. It's like, Giddy, where it's like honor for the family. He was all into that.
Yeah.
So he was a little bit
like,
more...
okay, Logan.
Yeah, he was more like that.
He's like a tourist that
I'm from
comes
Japan.
back.
I spent all this time in Japan and all this kind of stuff. It's like white guy problem. Anyway, I think...
Like when you're a young student coming back from abroad and you're like, let me tell you all about stroop waffles.
When you go and live in Thailand for a year, you're like, oh god, I lived in Thailand for a year.
Look at this bracelet I have.
Oh my god, I got these elephant pants.
This tattoo means love. Does it?
It doesn't mean it at all. Can't relate. So he was actually a little bit more subdued, but I was doing like trade paperbacks and trying to kind of catch up on what everyone was talking about, because in one side, Jean was getting married to Cyclops. In the other one, she was dead. So like,
right.
What the fuck? So of course, went to the iconic Claremont run, so the lead up to, and then the Dark Phoenix. 70s Wolverine.
Oh.
Was a cunt.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was absolutely introduced just to be like the polar opposite of Cyclops.
So, there's always been that sort of love triangle.
Yeah.
Going on. That's always been very
There wasn't much of a love triangle. Like he was like, oh gee, and then that was it. Like there wasn't. Oh, she's so like cool. Like she never.
What other love interests has Wolverine ever had?
Tons. He fucks around like nothing. He's got tons of kids. Oh my god.
Fine, never mind.
God, Logan's sperm is everywhere. His son is fucking hot.
You should like that though.
He's hot as fuck.
Dakin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen.
He is hot as fuck. Jimmy was shit. But anyway. But yeah, so when you kind of look at the 70s stuff, it was very much introduced just to be like a catalyst for fights against Scott. Mm-hmm. Like the Cockrum and Claremont run. He was always like questioning him. He was like, oh, I'm going to do this instead. Or oh, I do whatever I want and kind of go off on my own.
I think that persisted in the animated series.
It wasn't long after that the animated series came out.
Right.
It wouldn't have been very long. When was I 12?
What?
When was I 12?
When were you 12?
Yeah.
You would have been
94.
No. Wait.
82, so it would have been 94 is when I started reading comics. When did the animated series come out?
I think it was 92, but some...
Alexa, when did X-Men the animated series premiere?
We're doing the thing...
X-Men, the animated series premiered on the 31st of October 1992.
Yes! Okay. I was right!
Perfect. So...
One step closer to becoming a complete gay.
Complete geek.
Complete geek.
You're completely gay. but you are an incomplete geek. Yeah, so it wouldn't have been too long after getting the trade publications of that sort of stuff, and then the animated series, which I had to get on VHS because we didn't have it on television, so I had to kind of piece that together. And I think that is the most insufferable version of Wolverine. Has to be X-Men the animated series. Agree or disagree?
The most insufferable version of Wolverine. I mean, that was my first experience with Wolverine.
Many people's.
Because I didn't play. I'm sure I did play a lot of the video games, but I didn't have access to a lot of the arcade stuff.
Sure.
So I grew up in a small town kind of thing. But I definitely watched the 90s cartoons as a child, and I remember my favorite character has always been Gambit. Like there's reasons for that. He's just
hot
really
straight guy.
suave. Yeah, like hot as well. Not that I knew that as a kid why, but Wolverine was just kind of like a meh to me. And I remember talking to my friend at the time, and we're talking about that we discovered that we both watched the TV show. And he was like, "Oh no, he said that his favorite was Wolverine because he did that thing with his claws where the lightning shot between the claws." I'm like, "That's not a thing."
Yeah, it's just the intro. That's just the
powers.
That's just the coolest shit intro.
We had a fight about that intro because he was like, "No, he does it when he does that sort of shink in the intro. There's like lightning between it. Like that's not his power though." He's like, "Yes, it is. He does it in the intro." And I was like, "No." And I was. I remember that argument to this day because I was right.
What a fool he was.
What a fool he was. But like, in spite of whatever good thing you say about Wolverine, he's just kind of like the aggressive, independent. And as a kid, I never really got in with that. I was like, whatever. He's like, I get that. Being aggressive isn't really a thing.
It was just aggressively heterosexual. It was
and that. With Gambit, he'd probably fuck anything.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine is just sort of not the kind of person I want to.
Well, okay. No, he was just completely put in there just to kind of to keep the straight bros going. Like he is just completely. Yes, he's a lot more nuanced in the comics because obviously he's got 50, 60 years of history. But in the animated series, he's so just one-dimensionally straight.
Do you hate him because he appeals to straight people?
I hate the things about him that appeals to straight people.
Okay. Good answer.
Like, it's, again, like we've talked about before, all these characters are like, I do things my way. Whatever kind of cowboy antics.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't follow your rules. I do things my way. And then everybody spends the rest of the episode, movie, issue following you around, trying to fucking sort it out because you're like, I go where I... That was the true line. I go where I want to go.
That kind of cavalier attitude.
It's like, I don't need you. I'm better than everyone. Fuck you. I'm so great because I'm like so fucking masculine. And I have claws and hair and shit. And like, it is so fucking boring.
Yeah, I get it.
And it pisses everyone off. And like the X-Men, the Juggernaut one, I love that one where he's like, Scott's like, we need to work together for a fucking change. Fuck you, because you got your ass fucking kicked because it's Juggernaut.
Yeah.
You can't. You're like 5'2" with scratchy claws. You suck. You need Jean to take it. Always like, oh, I know best. I'm the best. What I do is like, but you're not really that good, are you? Because you're shit and you have shit fucking powers. Shit fucking powers compared to all the girls on that team. Good God, Rogue Storm Jean.
That is
not
true.
Jubilee.
Yeah.
Rogue Storm Jean versus
Dazzler.
I've got like fingernails and I'm short and I can smell. Like piss off with that.
I mean the healing.
Piss off with that. The healing factor
is very
yeah, but like fuck off. Anyway, it's the cowboy mentality that straight guys seem to fucking love. It's like, if I was a superhero, I wouldn't take any shit. I know, and I do with a fight. It's that crappy like squaring off against people that straight guys seem to do all the time, and that is very pure Wolverine.
It's very macho. Like, I kind of get the idea of like sort of bucking against the rules and authority and everything, but when it comes down to like I'm doing my very own thing, like that's
bucking against the rules and authority when they are the oppressive majority. When it's your fucking teammate and everybody hates you and you're gonna die, it's like now is not the time. Fucking pick the battles. Bucking against the government or like capitalism, cool. It's like, there's 6 of you versus everyone who wants to kill you, and you're picking fucking fights with the guy who's been here 20 years longer than you. Like,
Yeah,
piss
you don't
off! Piss off!
You know what that reminds me of, actually, is that... It's a bit of a tangent, so we can always cut this later, but like that one guy in...
Do it, I'm gonna... Oh god, I'm exhausted already.
In Star Wars, the Oscar Isaac character.
Yeah, 100%! It's like,
Poe.
Poe. It's like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna do whatever I want. It's like, and everybody had to run around and fucking fix it because you didn't just listen. It's like, we are the rebellion.
Yes.
We are repressed.
We are a team.
They're like, there's so few of us, and we're fighting against an entire fucking galaxy or 2 against these people, and you just went off and fucked everything up. It's exactly what Wolverine does, and people straight guys love that shit. They fucking love a guy who's like, Top Gun Maverick. I'm gonna play by my own rules. It's like, do you think this is fun? Do you think Cyclops is just like, I'm gonna mess with him? It's like, I don't have the time. It's like, Morph got killed in the first fucking episode, and then you piss around doing whatever the fuck you want, thinking you know better. Fuck off. I have opinions.
That was a...
I don't know.
You have a few opinions, yeah. Like in the first episode, when Morph gets killed, it's like he actually goes through a lot of torment, self torment. Like, oh, I left Morph there. He shouldn't have died. But it's like, yeah, okay then, and then so maybe you should learn from that instead of continuing to be a cavalier, dipshit. But anyway, like, he doesn't change for that.
In the cartoons are different because there's not really much opportunity for character change. You kind of have to be quite consistent. Wolverine has to be Wolverine from start to finish, so he didn't really evolve. He had a couple of Japanese episodes in that, I'm sure, where he's like, look at me. Probably like in the later ones when it was animated in the Philippines and it was awful. He probably had a few Mariko episodes or something like that where he's like...
I'm not there yet. I'm watching it now. I'm still watching it.
Whereabouts are
you? I think
after 2 it drops off.
Season 2? After season 2? There's like 7 seasons.
Yeah. They're not good.
Oh, come on.
The entire last one is awful.
Last season. I'm definitely not there yet. I think I'm at the point where like Magneto and Professor X just got back from Genosha or something like that. So maybe season 3 or 4?
I don't think they went to Genosha. Savage Land?
Savage Land, yes. Not Genosha.
Where he could miraculously walk.
He could walk.
That was good. That was season 2, I think.
Was it? Okay, well then that's what... I'm still fairly early then.
I think that was season 2. 3, we get like the Dark Phoenix stuff, which was pretty decent.
I'm not there yet.
Pretty decent.
And maybe that.
The Savage Land stuff was pretty good. Yeah. So, and obviously when the cartoon came out, like that's when their popularity exploded. Like, everybody loved Wolverine.
Well, it's the little boy thing because the little boy wants to be like all macho and big and strong and everything like that.
Yep.
But like the whole. Maybe that's why we as gay men don't get on with that because...
Oh, sorry. Yes.
And that. But like we don't need to be that macho, brute character. Like
point to prove.
It doesn't really... Yeah, we don't have a point to prove. We don't have to prove that we're better than everybody else because of this weird bravado that we have inside of us. This machismo that we need to sort of show people.
He is the epitome of short man syndrome.
I guess.
Not that there's anything wrong. Love a short king. I don't give a shit. I'm 5'9". But the kind of aggressive heterosexuality when it's like, because he's short. He's like 5'4".
Yeah,
in the comics. He is canonically tiny because he's a Wolverine.
Canonically, like a few inches taller than Kylie. She's like tiny.
Oh my god! Yeah, he's roughly the same height as Kylie Minogue and the Great Australian. Far better. Who would make a pretty good Dazzler?
Oh my god, yes!
I made a good Dazzler.
She's like 60 now, though.
She's way too old. She's gorgeous, but she's too old. We need a very young, teeny bopper one.
Yeah.
Short man syndrome. Yeah, the aggressive, overcompensating. It's all of that, which a lot of like action cartoon comics is kind of geared towards that, and I know people like that. I don't know. It's bullshit. It's crap.
I have a counterpoint for you. Are you ready?
Tell me.
Not quite a hot take, but like a counterpoint. Because of his regenerative abilities, he's actually very, very old. Yes. How jaded do you become watching all of your friends die?
He can't remember that, though.
Okay, so it doesn't even factor in it.
No. Which is a good point, because like I often think about that with the vampire stuff. It's like...
Oh, yeah.
how would you give a shit about anything?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm 41 and I don't give a shit about anything. 241? How on earth do you care?
I mean, I still do it.
I'd like to do it like a 200, 250.
Yeah. Then like
that's as far as I would want to go.
then you're like, stake me, I'm done.
Yeah. I think that's a good kind of like, woo, wow, humanity would... Anyway, we're not here to talk about vampires. We'll do that another time. Sexy gay vampires.
Sexy gay
We
vampires.
should do a whole episode on
Write it down.
vampires. I'm going to put that on my... I'm going to put... 1 second. I'm just going to...
Sexy gay
One second. I'm going to put that on my Notion board.
One second, we're gonna... Somebody doesn't remember.
Yeah, so that doesn't count, I'm afraid.
Okay, never mind.
Like,
So
good try.
He doesn't have that as an excuse.
No,
But I'm
good
trying
try. It would be an interesting one. And again, the comic book version of Wolverine is a lot more nuanced because they have a lot more time to kind of
Yeah.
draw it out.
I'm trying to find the good in everybody and like trying to look at him as a character and like what he's gone through and like the interesting things about his development.
Yeah, great.
But
Sure.
it's not
cool.
there.
No. The best thing about Wolverine?
Okay, yeah, go on.
Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, there's tons of like, there's a cool like list of like things that bug me about Wolverine and like all the things, but his most redeeming form
Is Hugh Jackman? Yeah, Hugh Jackman is great.
And I know he
brings some
butted
sort of
heads with Scott in the films.
Mm-hmm. Which was more cute.
But it was
than...
he was like the new kid. It wasn't so much,
Yeah.
you know, like he like dicked around. It's like you've been an X-Men for like 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
We're gonna die. Fuck you. Don't like dick around.
Wait, who is it? Scott?
In comics, you know,
In
that sort of
comics.
stuff. But in the films, like he was like, kind of like
I don't need
squaring up to Scott because he was brand new and
Yeah.
he was taller and.
There was that
I was gonna say sexier, but I'm not sure.
Cavalier attitude
Hugh Jackman
versus James
James.
Marstons.
Marsden. Spike is Masters.
Spike is Marsters. Okay. I don't know. Oh, the thing is, like,
I've gone back and forth between
I
the
like-
two of them.
I like
I'd
Scott.
like to do.
You would as well.
Oh my god.
In the comics, they're totally fucking right now, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember they now.
Oh yeah.
And
they
it makes
are, and I
complete
really
sense.
that. Anyway, we'll get into the gayness of Wolverine
Fine.
later.
Scott, I think if I look at the actors, I kind of will go towards James. He's just a good-looking guy, and Hugh is a nice guy.
James is gorgeous, but Hugh is also gorgeous.
But also Scott, completely clean-shaven. He's too much for goody two-shoes.
No, shut up with that. That
I
is
can
so
only-
much more attractive than the bad guy, as Jean eloquently said. It's like the nice guy sticks around.
Yeah.
The bad guy just swans in. It's like,
I don't
oh
need a
look,
guy to
I'm
stick
6 foot.
around."
I'm 6'2", and I take my shirt off, which we all appreciate. Hugh, thank you for taking your shirt off all the time.
He's not 6'2". Is he?
Hugh Jackman
He's 6'2".
is enormous.
Oh.
Alexa, how tall is Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman is 6 feet 3 inches tall.
No!
6'3".
I'm 6'4". Liam Neeson is 6'4".
Hugh Jackman, Famke Janssen, James.
No.
He had to stand on an apple crate to
Bless. Apple cream?
or whatever you call, like the little apple box. Yeah.
Like a box, yeah. A theater box.
Because she's like 6.
She's
What?
tall.
She's gorgeous. I love her.
She's great.
Ridiculous.
What
I love
has
her.
she been doing? She needs to be more...
This is not a Jean Grey episode.
No.
Or a Famke Janssen episode. I would love a Famke Janssen episode.
We
Oh
should.
my god, Cindy's getting it on the top.
Senior on the top, yeah. She's
On
done...
the top.
We'll get
No.
there. That needs to be researched, though. I want to do that properly.
Let's not digress that. So, yes. How did we get onto this?
Hugh Jackman's tall.
Hugh Jackman is tall. Not that that matters, but it takes away the short man syndrome, which is like a pivotal point of the
I
character.
never thought about that.
And
yeah.
he's like a chill Australian.
Yeah.
It just completely diffuses a huge amount of the character stuff.
Yeah.
Which made him... Because when the films were coming out, I'd waited my entire life for films to be made. Originally,
live-action
it
films,
was
yeah.
going to be...
What? Oh, someone else. Oh, yeah. Someone other than Hugh Jackman, wasn't it? I don't remember.
I know who it was because I heard Chris Claremont say it at a panel, and I remember reading it. It's not Danny DeVito. It's the English version of
Danny
Danny DeVito.
Dyer.
No, the English
English
equivalent.
Danny DeVito?
Yeah. And if you're English, you know who I'm talking about.
What?
He did the BT adverts. He's dead, unfortunately.
Did the BT adverts? No, I need to win this game. Keep going. What else is? What else?
He was
has
also
been
in Spice World, but like as a cameo. He's basically English Danny DeVito. He's a little
Bob
bit tall.
Hoskins.
Yes!
I can't believe that was the answer.
Bob, the teeny tiny English guy.
He was Mario in the Super Mario Brothers film.
Yes! He was Chris Claremont's pick cast to be Wolverine.
No! Bob Hoskins.
I heard that firsthand. That was his choice. Because he's 5'0",
Yeah.
scrappy, wolf, hairy, old guy.
I never saw him
Bob
as
fucking
like
Hoskins. When they were originally casting the ideas for it, when Angela Bassett was cast as Storm.
So this is like back in the early 2000s.
In the 90s.
Or
in the
was it 90s?
90s. When this was originally shot. Like,
Right,
before,
okay.
like long before it became a thing. Bob fucking Hoskins would have been Wolverine.
No way. Imagine the workout
Imagine
regime
the
he'd have to go
world.
through.
The
Imagine the
world
universe that we'd
where
have
Bob
to live.
Hoskins, bless your heart, oh, I love that for you, was Wolverine.
And Angela Bassett was Storm.
Well, I wish Angela Bassett had been Storm.
And
Halle Berry did not need to be it. It should have been Angela Bassett.
man, that's a different episode as well. Halle Berry. Well, it's not
Angela Bassett or Storm. Anyway,
Halle Berry as Storm.
just Storm. Anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
short man syndrome. Yeah, it just kind of, so the casting of Hugh Jackman, I mean, again, when I knew these things were going to be made, they've been talked about for so long, and when they realized they were going to make the films and they were coming out, we knew it would be a Wolverine. It's Wolverine and the X-Men. It's a Wolverine is the star, and then the others have some lines and kind of float around his point of view, which is the number one bitch that everyone, all the gays and the girls who don't like Wolverine have, is that it's always about...
It's always like literally every single film has him in some degree, some capacity.
The only one who doesn't.
The only one that doesn't, don't tell me, is...
There's only one who he isn't in.
That he isn't in. Oh, is it the last one, Dark Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look how well that was. Look how well that did.
Oh, look how well that did. That was that. It was like a thing that they had already had the motions in place, and like, we've got to just finish it. Let's just make something.
Just to release it. You didn't need to release that. No one needed to see that.
I'm sure
I didn't need to see that.
Somebody had a contract.
I didn't need to see that. Anyway. So it was always going to be a Wolverine franchise, which is the number one on my listicle of listicles reasons why I hate Wolverine. It's always about him.
The thing is,
it's always about him, and if that is not the most perfect metaphor for straight white men, I can't think of anything better.
True.
It is
fair enough.
always his point of view that matters. He is always the centerpiece. He is always the character that the stories in the mainstream media revolve around. This pissed off, insecure, straight
Canadian
white man. Canadian is fine. Nothing against the Canadians.
I hate
That's
Canadians.
not the bad.
Just
stuff.
kidding. I don't hate Canadians.
God, in America. Everything else. It's always his point of view.
And going off of that, one really interesting point about the very first film, and I get that the first film to introduce us to the world of the X-Men, I'm fine to let him be the point of view character in a way. It was him and Rogue, to be honest. Rogue was the point of view character.
I don't know. We're not.
No. But I get the fact that like
you needed a POV, and it wasn't going to be Kitty Pryde because people wouldn't resolve. You needed it to be Wolverine, and I get it.
I get it. It's fine. And I like that he's being introduced to the world. The second one should have been completely different. It should have been not him. Third one should have been not him. The third one had his own problems, whatever. But one of the most interesting parts of that first film is when you're following along with Wolverine. And I was like, okay, I can get along with this character because Hugh Jackman is bringing some gravitas to this sort of anger, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like when Magneto, the wonderful Ian McKellen, finds them in the train and like Wolverine's
Yeah.
like, all right, you've got me. What do you want? And he's like, it's not about you.
It's not about
And
you.
like pushes him aside and takes
what a
Rogue
wonderful
away.
moment. But
It's
then
the
that
best.
it doesn't last long.
No,
It doesn't last
it
long.
happens too quickly. But that's what you're saying. It's like it's not when you say it's not about him.
But
It's
the whole yeah, exactly. Again, I don't want to make everything about being gay, but look where we are. Look where we are. But I'm gonna.
But dear reader, you're listening to this podcast for a reason.
So you agree with me? You know, the X-Men are the epitome, like the perfect metaphor for the queer experience.
Yeah.
And everything is focused through a lens of this insecure, shitty, straight white man.
I've got a question for you then.
Oh.
Because basically, if you want to look at the X-Men as an allegory for persecution,
Yeah, they
or
are
of
of
LGBT,
everything, but
of everything, but like LGBT really grasped onto it, and because especially our generation, which is made clear in that second X-Men film with Iceman.
The second film was fucking brilliant.
How does Wolverine factor into that? Because he's got the mutant gene, so he's a little bit persecuted, but he doesn't, because it's just his way of.
Doesn't seem to bother him, does it?
It's his way of ignoring that in a way.
He can pass. He doesn't let it bother him. He's never.
He can hide it a bit easier.
He's also never introspective about it. Like
good point.
even Scott, who is the other super straight white guy at the center of this franchise, has
he can't hide it.
A huge inconvenience,
Yeah.
a huge fear that ostracizes him, and he's very introspective about it and that sort of stuff. Wolverine, I mean, again, tell me, I'm not going to read the comics because I don't give a shit about Wolverine, but maybe there are moments where he's like, oh, being a mutant, oh, it's so sad being that. Doesn't bother him.
No.
It doesn't seem
like
that you know, he's got a lot of other shit going on. That's fine. Again, I'm not saying that Wolverine or straight white men in general do not have other problems, but it seems very much like being a mutant isn't a problem for him.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
He ages wonderfully. He can fight. He's none of this. No one's picking on him because
he gets loads of sex.
Spraying that Wolverine seed everywhere.
The Wolvie seed.
The Wolverine seed.
I mean, you would.
Oh, if it's Hugh Jackman, yeah. If it's Bob Hoskins. Maybe.
I should laugh because he's passed away.
He has passed away, but also he's dead, so don't
He's
fuck
dead.
him. Don't fuck him.
Let's fast forward a little bit to the film Logan, because when that came
Just
out,
what I was thinking about in the Japanese bunker.
No,
that's Logan. No,
that's the Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Which I think, hot take, I think it's underrated. I like that film a lot.
2/3 of it, maybe.
Whatever.
And then the end is just so bad.
Oh yeah, I didn't like the Silver Samurai. Don't know much about that character.
All of it. I agree. Like maybe half of it.
It's really well done. Oh, I think that's why they
calm
brought.
down. I'm not saying really well done, but it's fine for about half of it, and then you want to kill yourself. So
Okay, I enjoyed it a lot more than
X-Men 3.
X-Men 3 and fucking the Origins one, which everyone hates. Which I hate so much because it's the only live-action candidate that we have, and I just wanted to be so good, and it was
Everyone
so
will forget
bad.
him. No one remembers him. That's fine.
No one remembers him because they think about Deadpool.
No. But
They think about Deadpool.
also, we'll have another Gambit. You're fine. Gambit is also a straight white man who is fine.
He's fine. He's fine.
He's alright. Don't worry.
Yeah, so there's those films as well, and yeah, so not the bunker one is not Logan. Logan is Old Man,
which is a wonderful film.
Same director as the Wolverine.
James Mangold.
Mangold, yes. Sorry, I'm being very loud now because I'm drunk.
Clearly, studio interference. Studio not interference. Do you think the reason why first one was shit?
The Wolverine. Well,
studio interference because it was still part of the franchise. Whereas when Logan, it was like, we're finishing, do what you want.
Maybe. I get the sense maybe that the Wolverine was them trying to say, okay, we want this to happen.
We need this, and we need Viper at the end.
Yeah.
What?
Who?
Viper at the end? That shit?
Oh, I forgot about her completely.
Oh, God. I wish I could.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so, like, they said, let's bring in, we know something's going to happen with the X-Men franchise with relates to Disney's and whatever the rights going back to Marvel kind of thing. So this
That was before that. That was
do
Future
it, yeah.
Past.
So they were like, we know this is gonna happen eventually, so do whatever you want to with this Logan film. And so
Oh,
we
with
did.
Logan. Yes, sorry.
And it was great, and everyone was talking about like how Hugh Jackman played this character for 20 years, and I wanted to be like, so is Patrick Stewart. He's played that character for 20 years as well.
So is Patrick Stewart.
Maybe not.
I don't think
in
Patrick.
as many films, but
I don't think Patrick got the send off he deserved.
no.
I don't think his death
It's
was.
tragic, and it's I don't
It
know.
wasn't. It wasn't done.
Wasn't
properly.
fulfilling.
No, it wasn't. The film was great, and he was fucking great in it. But his end was like, oh, I'm dead. Okay, bye. No,
It was.
I'm sad about that.
So yeah, Patrick Stewart was not a good send off. Which like it was the tragedy was a good level, but I agree that it was sort of a bit of a.
He needed a scene. He needed a farewell scene, and I don't think he got it.
What do you think about his sort of send off in Multiverse of Madness? That's a different send off.
We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about why we hate Wolverine.
Oh right.
Let's not get sidetracked.
It's my own fault. All these tangents is totally. My
So.
But let's talk about Wolverine in that film though, because he obviously is meant to be the end of Wolverine, who is
Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan. Yeah, well, that's what he's based on. But I don't think that. I remember seeing a thing of Hugh Jackman, a video of Hugh Jackman at some Comic-Con kind of thingy. He just sort of says before Logan came out, and he was just like, "Oh man, Logan," and everyone's like, "Woo!"
Yeah.
I don't think he knew what he was talking about.
He would have read. He could only
Because it
need to
wasn't
do was
like-
read a few comics, and he would have known.
Because it wasn't anything like Old Man Logan. It was just an old
It's just
version
an old man
of Logan. Yeah.
with Logan, who had a jacket on. That's kind of
With no jacket, he had like the sort of the vest top.
yeah.
For Americans, that's a
Tank.
wife beater or tank top. Yeah.
Yes. Singlet for Australians.
Singlet. Is it? Oh yeah, good, yeah. But yeah, I think
X-Men.
that was a good resolution to that character.
His X-Men 2 singlet tank top scene.
Oh yeah, with the one where he's fighting in the hallways of the
I
X-Men.
just don't like that.
See, here's
And
thing.
the homoerotic-
you like.
I love Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
No, I like
yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
So
And
for you, it wasn't about the.
it's about Hugh Jackman
macho
having his
machismo.
arms out. No, I don't like that. It's just like his arms out. And when he got Iceman to blow on his soda pop.
Yeah, which we talked about on this podcast before.
Oh, God. What are we talking about?
So Logan was a good finish to that
Yeah,
character.
it was very good.
Is he coming back in a film?
He's coming back for Deadpool 3.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Deadpool 3 is in training at the moment.
Is Deadpool 3 going to be part of the MCU officially?
Sort of. I feel like they're going to do like a multiverse variant kind of shit, which I'm bored of already. I mean,
I
haven't
don't
even
want-
started.
I want them to be like, okay, multiverse is going to be a few extra, fun side universes, but I want to stick in our own one. I want our story. I don't want to get invested in a Deadpool 3 that has nothing to do with our main story. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to watch this soap opera through to the end. I'm here for the ups and downs, the alternate universes, and the hidden twins and whatever else, and the vampires and werewolves. But like, I want it to be a story. I don't want to have to think about another story.
They may have to do that if they rejig their plans now because of Jonathan Majors.
Oh yeah, we don't know. That's breaking news.
Let's do another one. What other formats about Wolverine? You know what? Where's my list?
We talked about we mentioned. Oh my god, we didn't really talk about Pride of the X-Men, did we?
I mean, we did a whole episode watching Pride.
Oh
of
yeah,
the
we did.
X-Men.
Yeah.
So
refer back to episode. That was 35. I'm pretty sure, wasn't it?
Oh.
Refer back to. We should reference our own episodes.
We really should.
Listen to the episode where we view watch. The
Pride of the
live-
X-Men and
live
his
watching
and
Pride
his
of the X-Men.
dodgy ass Australian accent.
Or was it?
Or English, or Cockney.
Cockney? We
I
don't know.
have no idea what they were thinking about that.
If you are that voice actor who did that, you should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed. You should be embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Are you not embarrassed? I've got like a listicle thing here of reasons I hate Wolverine.
Yeah. Should I read them to you and you tell me if you agree
No,
with
I've
them or
already
not?
read them.
Oh, fine, whatever.
So, and I...
Yeah, but don't read them now. Or is it your list?
It's not.
Give me.
No, but I've read them.
I want to like.
No, you
give
have
them
to.
to you.
No,
Okay, you give them to me.
You're
then.
going to have to react because I've already read them.
Fine.
And see if you agree. He's not interesting.
He's not interesting.
What is it about Wolverine that makes him interesting?
I think. Okay, from purely a geeky superhero kind of perspective, I think the concept of regeneration healing ability is kind of interesting.
What about it?
the fact that you can't die, really. Like, even when he's shot in the fucking head, he doesn't die in X2.
She shot in the head next to?
Yeah, when they're at Bobby's house and he calls the cops and there's two... Anyway.
Adamantium skull.
Adamantium skull. So it's like, that's interesting, but that's not what people think about when they think of a Wolverine. They think about his claws or his angriness, you know.
He's not interesting in the fact that, like, the majority of his character, most of the time, is just like
his character
anger issues,
yeah.
Fight bullshit.
There's no driving motivation for his character. He's just, you know, there's a little bit when he's like, I gotta go to Canada and figure out what my history, like, fine.
They've tried so many times to give him, like, because he has an incredibly complex backstory, but I don't think anyone who is a Wolverine, like, apart from super comic nerds, like, I don't give a shit about that. They don't like him because it's like, he traveled in Japan and he learned the way of the samurais. Like,
tragic. No.
That's not his universal appeal. His universal appeal is like, he don't take no shit and he kills people. Whoop. De-fucking do. And his power is...
He's indestructible because of his skeleton.
His power is metal claws and he can heal.
His power is he can heal. The metal claws were...
Don't school me on Wolverine's powers.
It's not a power.
Don't... Having metal claws, if Iron Man's power is having an Iron Man suit, Wolverine's claws are his powers.
I don't think Iron Man has any powers. He's super smart. That's his power. And rich. But his power...
What are Batman's powers?
He has no powers. His whole point of existing is he has no powers.
Anyway.
But he has lots of gadgets. And is rich.
Next. He's everywhere.
It's annoying. Yeah.
The
one thing we liked about one of the things we liked about the Pride one was because it had a lot
wasn't
of other characters.
The central focus. He was in it just as much as Colossus, Cyclops, Storm, Dazzler, and Kitty was in it more than
Which
Wolverine.
is good. I mean, that makes sense.
Which was just a lovely, refreshing change. He is everywhere. He's in all the things. He was an Avenger at the same time as an X-Men. Like, he was fucking everywhere.
Yay.
It's like, oh my god, is he the only fucking X-Men character? Wolverine the X-Men, he's the only one they talk about.
Well,
like,
part of that is because of the success of the cartoon as well. There's like, he became quite popular because of it, and so they had to sort of capitalize on that success. Like, I get it, but can we we're now past that now.
He hogs the spotlight.
Hang on. Spotlight. If and when he is cast in the MCU, please do not make him a central character.
That would be so interesting if he wasn't.
I don't want
that
it to
would be so interesting if he was a supporting character.
Yes, and he should always be that.
Who just kind of came in and like did shit and like annoyed everyone, and then it's like, oh, I fixed it. What? That sort of thing.
He's gonna be the Poe Dameron of the MCU.
Everyone loses their fucking mind for Poe fucking Dameron.
I know.
Fuck.
And like, I'm developing a hate-love relationship with Oscar Isaac because I like him. I hate every character he ever plays.
I hate all his characters.
Have you seen Inside Llewyn Davis?
No, but I liked him naked in Dune.
He was like he was that as well. Yeah, okay.
He had a beard and was naked.
I didn't mind him in that film, I guess. But like, it was a Coen Brothers film, and it was a really well done film, but I hated everything that character did in like a pitiful kind of way. Anyway.
Watch them cast Oscar Isaac to be Wolverine. Just to piss us off.
That would be hilarious. Oh my god, he's short as well. I think he's short.
Just to fucking piss us off.
And he's got the history. He's like, I've been Poe Dameron. I know how to be a cavalier cowboy.
You're Harry. You'll do. It's like... Okay.
Alexa, how tall is Oscar Isaac?
Oscar Isaac is 5 feet 9 inches tall.
That is not short.
It's not short, but it is definitely Wolverine material.
Hugh Jackman, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I'm the Hugh. No, yeah, fine. I'm the Hugh, you're the Oscar.
Damn it.
What was your thing you said? He
hogs the spotlight.
Yes!
There are so
100%
many
agree.
X-Men.
I don't care
There are so
anymore.
many amazing... First of all, there are so many amazing X-Men characters.
Yes.
There are also plenty of Marvel characters. Like, there are so many characters, and everything is about this short guy who cuts things with his nails.
When you say X-Men, you don't mean just X-Men, you mean like all mutants. There's so many interesting mutants.
Mutants are X-Men characters.
Okay, fine, yeah. X-Men
by legalities. But yeah, and it's always about him. It's always about him. He has so many solo episodes. That fucking thing that they always used to do in cartoons. They would always pick their favorite fucking boy character, and they'd have solo episodes all the fucking time. Wheeler from Captain Planet always had loads of solo episodes.
Yeah.
I can't think of another example. They always had loads of solo episodes.
Bionic 6, the boy.
Bionic 6, he always had solo episodes. Lion-O, we're going to get into Thundercats, just you fucking wait. Love him. Yes, he was the leader. Every episode was about Lion-O. Tiny Toons.
Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah. You
always follow the boys.
Give me a Sheila episode. No, you have one.
There was one Sheila episode.
Everything else was an Eric episode.
Yeah.
I do love Eric. But...
Oh my god, D&D film. Have you seen that? You haven't seen it?
No, we're going to talk about that later.
They're
in it. I know, I've seen the cameo.
Yeah.
I've seen the cameo.
I was like, only because of you. I was like, oh my god, it's them.
I know. Like Tiny Toon... I'm just trying to think of the ones that... Tiny Toon Adventures. Buster fucking Bunny.
How do you get from Thundercats?
The fact you made this whole world of loads of interesting characters, and you use the same ones. Oh, because it's the basic, boring, straight white guy. Even though Buster Bunny is a blue rabbit, but you know what I mean. That you could just use over and over and over again. It's like there are so many characters, and you use Wolverine in everything. It's so dull. Even if you use
why?
Because it appeals.
I was going to say, the reason that it's true, and this is the underlying issue, is that most of the writers and producers...
Oh, that's true.
They're all male.
Yeah, because they write it.
They write it, and they, you know...
They don't know what girls do.
They don't know how...
What does a girl do? Do we have girls? I don't know.
Do girls have issues?
I don't know what they do. Can they... Do you have... Like, do you want this?
They don't have
know
problems, do they?
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
The first X-Men MCU directed by a woman film.
Gay,
let's do it.
A gay trans black woman.
A gay trans black woman.
You need the most...
whatever it takes.
These are not my hot takes, but we're going to talk about them now.
Next.
His rogues gallery is decent at best. And I think this is wonderful. Because tell me who his enemies are.
I was going to ask you that. Who's an enemy of Wolverine? I don't know.
One we know. He's like the main one.
An enemy of...
Wolverine.
Are you going to say Magneto?
No.
The main enemy... Oh, Sabretooth.
Yes.
Okay.
Who else?
Omega Red.
Is he? I guess. Maybe?
I only know that because of
the cartoon?
Cartoon, yeah.
Maybe? I don't think he's an
on the cover
explicitly one. Maybe? Lady Deathstrike is the other one that's the main one. And she's a fucking great character.
Yeah.
That's a really cool character. But if you're gonna like spin him off to be the guy, the Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, whatever, the one, who else you got?
Sabretooth.
Who else you got? Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike. Like, who are the other interesting ones? All the other bad guys are X-Men bad guys. They're not your bad guys.
I mean...
You're not interesting.
Yeah.
You're not.
I mean, if you think about... He did have a thing with Mr. Sinister, didn't he? But like, he's more of like a
He's X-Men bad guy. That's not... But yeah, it's way more Cyclops bad guy than Wolverine.
Nemesis.
Yes.
Yep. Point taken.
Like you can't act like you're a lead character and not have like this interesting.
Not have a couple villains.
Like you don't. It's not whatever. This person has said his adamantium skeleton is redundant. Let's discuss. What exactly is the purpose of the skeleton? He's unbreakable. It's like he's got a healing factor. Does he need that? It just makes him an easier target for Magneto. Ugh. Whatever. Next. I love it. I didn't write this article, but I fucking love this person who did.
Okay.
Bones that can't be broken. But if you have a healing factor,
they can't not be broken. They can definitely be broken.
Adamantium, his bones can't be broken.
No,
yeah. But also, if you have a healing factor, it's like they're broken, they're fixed. Give a shit. Pointless. It's just some bromo dick slinging. Similarly,
but he can cut anything. The thing is, like, even like the whole cutting anything is...
But he can't do that. He can't cut people. It's a comic book. You can't cut people up. And because he's murdering people. He's not a good guy if he is cutting people up.
Just the bad guys.
No! You can't do that and call yourself a good guy. Anyway, Storm would never. Storm would never allow that. Next one, it says he can't die. Agreed. Oh, he can't die.
I mean, if they use it in an interesting way.
They use it so many times. Oh, so many boring things. Boring. I don't like that one. That was boring. His powers are cool, but boring.
I mean...
Oh, look, I have claws. Okay.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely not as interesting as...
When you stack him up, against you and me, yes. Way more impressive.
Yeah,
way more impressive and interesting.
Yeah. But
it's in a team of X-Men.
X-Men, yeah.
Like, Cyclops is more interesting in his powers.
Cyclops' powers are actually
Jean fucking Grey,
boring.
Storm. Yeah. It's like, oh, but I have claws and I can. I have
claws and I can
stuff.
regenerate. That's about it.
What the fucking fuck can you do?
Iceman. I mean...
Iceman, shut up. They are so like, they've got claws. They're the hardest metal on Earth. And you can cut through anything. It's like, yeah, but can you reach me? Like, they're this big.
Yeah.
They're like...
Can you see me?
They're like 8 inches long. What do you fucking do? Oh, and you can smell stuff? Whatever.
This is like animalistic.
Whoop do you fucking do? Oh, you can smell stuff. He is useless against Magneto. The X-Men's main villain manipulates metal.
Yeah.
To be fair, the same could be said for Colossus.
Is the organic metal magnetic?
Straight away.
Really?
Straight away.
Okay.
It's steel. He sure can.
Okay.
The X-Men's main villain is like, oh, I have
to be fair, like steel is not even that impenetrable. It's just a metal.
It's organic steel.
Yeah, does that mean is it impenetrable?
We'll bring this up.
What would happen if adamantium claws came against his organic steel?
It would cut the steel.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so, but
yeah. He has more bad qualities than good.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing as a character, but if you're
the fucking star that everyone fucking loves, what are the good
lay into that anti-hero?
This is superhero stuff.
Yeah.
What are the qualities we admire in Wolverine?
If you
his sense of smell.
Yes, that's the other. No, his sort of. I mean, the I don't know.
Do you think Wolverine's good in bed?
Hmm?
Do you think Wolverine's good in bed? Regenerative? Do you think that means?
I don't think his regeneration has anything to do with being in bed. I think that in bed he's probably the kind of like butch macho guy who just sort of does it and is done.
Like eats roots, nuts, and leaves.
Eats shoots and leaves, yeah.
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 Eats roots and leaves.
I don't think he's a cuddler. I don't think he's like gonna be soft. I don't think he sort of I don't think he has his partner in mind when it comes to sort of pleasuring a mutual pleasuring sensation. Is that on your list? You're thinking about
No, I'm trying to picture the various different versions of him.
There can be something attractive about somebody who sort of takes what they want, but if you don't like, it's not just about that. It's about also you do it because you know the partner wants that kind of thing, and I don't think he does.
No, I don't think so either. Do you think he and Cyclops are fucking then?
Based on what you've told me, totally. I have no other frame of reference for this supposition.
I fully expect, and I think X-Men Geeks, like, we're going to look back on this
fanfic.
This time on X-Men, the way we look back on the 80s X-Men. We look back on that and see all the queer coding that they weren't allowed to do, that they, in the 40 years since then, are now allowed to do. So all the characters who were queer coded, very, very aggressively queer coded, I think most of them are now queer.
Like out.
Right now they're allowed to be.
Yeah.
That line stops at like bisexuals and lesbians and gays.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm sure you can do trans and drag queens, trans people and drag queens as well. A little bit. That line is drawn at polyamorous thruples.
Yeah.
And in several years' time, we'll look back on these stories which are coded in that way.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, and then they'll make it canon.
I feel like polyamory is an easy hill to climb.
Is an easy hill to climb?
Totally. Like,
I agree.
If you think that, like, you know, it took us 40 years to be able to say that Iceman is gay, Like, it's going to take us, like, maybe...
40?
You said. I don't know.
60 years.
Fine. My point stands. It's like,
Yes.
if it's not, you know, there are already polyamorous couples in real life. It's not going to take that long. Let's say 10 or even 8.
Exponential speed at which we can make that a thing.
For sure.
But, like, are the X-Men just for liberal-minded people?
Just for the gays. Well, if you're a right leaning political, you've got the Brotherhood of Mutants. They want a one world order that, you know,
they believe in exclusionary genetic superiority.
Right? There we go. We want to control people's bodies.
Whoa, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another issue. So Wolverine.
Yes. So let's cap it off. He's not necessary. There's no good reason for him to be as prominent as he is. He was successful in the 90s for the cartoon. Great.
I'm trying to think of a time in the X-Men's history, comic books mainly, when he was at his best.
Well, I don't know.
Because in the 90s, he was everyone's favorite, so they spun him off. So he was doing his own thing, so it wasn't in the X-Men.
You're talking about comics, though.
I'm talking about comics.
Yeah.
So yeah, when the shows came out, he wasn't even in the comics. He had his own because he had his own solo, because they made him do his own thing because he was so popular. When he was introduced in the 70s, he was shit. He was just like the counterpoint to Cyclops, and he was Old Man Logan, and then he was dead for a while, and then we got Laura, who was Wolverine instead.
Yes.
But
how do we feel about Laura Kinney?
She's fucking great.
Yeah.
She's badass. She's so good. She's so interesting. She's a cool ass character, and I don't know if it's because I'm actively avoiding him. Probably. I don't think he's that relevant or integral to the current run of X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 2019, when they rebooted it in the Krakoa era, he's there. He's on, like, is he on X-Force? I don't know. I've lost track of X-Force because I fucking hate Hank. Let me know. Email me and tell me I'm wrong. I don't know if he's in X-Force anymore. I'm sure he has his own thing going on. He's not in the X-Men.
Right.
Like each year, so I don't know if you know about it. Like each year, because all the mutants are on Krakoa, they have a gala, the Hellfire Gala, and they vote on who's going to be the publicly facing Save the Day X-Men.
Within the comics, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is also, you can vote online on who the
so in real life as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think they need to do every year, because you get like 12 issues and you're just getting into it, and then they change the roster completely.
Yeah.
I think the first round was a really good roster. I thought it was really fucking cool, and then they changed it completely. It's like, you can't, and they're gonna do it. They'll do it again in a few months. It's like Firestar's barely gotten a new costume, and then she's gonna be kicked out because you'll pick someone else. But Laura was in it, not Logan.
Yeah.
He's not an X-Man.
Yeah. Okay.
So and hasn't been this entire time.
Is he there because he's been resurrected?
Oh, everyone's been resurrected. I think he's there. Again, I'm actively... Like, if he's got his own solo, I'm pretty sure he does. Of course he does. I don't read it because I don't care.
Yeah. Well, you can have, like, if a writer wants to make a series about a character, they can just say he's not part of the X-Men, but they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, sure. But my point is like, he is not the central character of this stage of the X-Men. Mm-hmm. He's not important. He's there. You remember him from the films and the TV shows? There he is. There we go. Yeah. He is not at all a central part. He's not the Quiet Council. He's not the X-Men. He's none of this, which is lovely, wonderfully refreshing.
Yeah. The
world doesn't fucking revolve around him. So I'm trying to think of a time in the X-Men's comic book history when he was the most important. Maybe Outback era X-Men.
Well, maybe the fact that you can't think of an example of that is
because I hate him.
I was going to say it's indicative of how important maybe he's not. in the whole scheme of things.
In my mind, like my favorite issues are the ones he's not there. You don't need him. He's just the annoying straight guy that's in your group effort, and it's like says the same old shit. It's like, okay, thanks, Sam.
Okay,
bye.
You're gonna do your own thing and not help us.
Oh, I'm gonna do okay.
Well,
bye.
Why are you here then?
I don't care. I've never cared, and I don't think it made the whatever.
We'll see what happens in the future.
Maybe that X-Men Dark Phoenix issue where he's like kills all the Hellfire Club guards. That's like an important one.
Okay. Who's gonna play him in the MCU? Where the X-Men come in?
I hadn't even thought about it, but I would love it, like you just said, if he was a supporting character.
Yeah.
Because you could make him a really good, really well cast, really badass, whatever the fuck you want to do with him, cool fucking supporting character who does what the straight guys want him to do. Questions authority, fucks shit up.
Gets it wrong, fucks it up.
And stabs some people in the face. Like...
Oh, Logan.
Oh, James.
Yeah, James.
I think that would be... They won't do that. But at the same time, it's... Especially because he's coming back. How the fuck... Who's going to be it? If Hugh's coming back...
He's going to be old, though.
Like,
I don't know.
He's still hot. He's training at the moment.
Yeah.
But Wolverine doesn't... Wolverine's not hot. Wolverine's never been hot.
Yeah,
He was short and hairy. He's tiny and square and hairy. He's Bob fucking Hoskins. His character is not Gambit. He's not sexy. He's not cool. He's not suave. Yes, he's littered the world with his children, but that's more like, oh god, really? You slept with... It's not... Yeah. I think and that's probably why the incels like him so much, because he's not a tall, sexy guy. He's a short asshole and still fucks around. Jean still considers him. She never did. She kissed him once. And that was during Inferno.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
And, what? And I think she maybe kissed him before he stabbed her in the chest and she died. And then came back and then died. Is that enough? Have I ranted about it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you've done plenty.
If you would like to share your thoughts on Wolverine, on why you love him or hate him.
If you love him, tell us why you love him.
You can write in. You can email us at incompletegeekspodcast@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on the socials at Incomplete Geeks. We are on the TikTok and the Instagram. Please give us a follow.
I ranted a lot.
You did.
I have feelings. He's bugged me for a long fucking time in many different formats. I am fully aware I may have got stuff wrong, but I do not care.
Possible.
I do not care. However, I get shit wrong because, you know what? We're not complete geeks.
But we are working on it.
Thanks for listening and bitching along.
Thank you.
Bye.